Coming up in today's episode.
These tools could be very, very useful to many businesses, in my opinion.
This is just the start. God knows where we're going to end up in 5-10 years.
Because it will have a drastic effect on society.
I think we're only scraping the surface of what's possible with this stuff.
When I first tried it, I was like...
Alright everyone, and welcome to another episode of the That Makes Sensei Podcast. Stu, what are we talking about today, mate?
Today we are talking about AI, and any phrases or interesting words that come up, you can find them in the PDF that's in the description below. But yes, AI, it has taken over, hasn't it, at the minute? It seems to be the main thing on everybody's lips.
You're not wrong, mate. Like, you can't turn on social media, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, without somebody being like, oh my God, AI, you need to know these tools. You need to know, basically, you can do your entire week's work in 3 minutes with AI. Like, you can't escape it right now. And some people love it. Some people think it's a fad. Some people are scared of it. I don't really know. What do you think about it? Like, 'cause I know you're a bit of an advocate for this.
Obviously, there's things that could go wrong, of course, with everything. But I don't think it's the end of the world yet. I think that these tools, well, you never know. So, but these tools could be very, very useful to many businesses, in my opinion. As someone who's worked and ran a bunch of businesses in the past and now run my own business, I can see the benefit for each thing. It's just working out how to apply it and make the best effect of these kind of things. So there's quite a few different types, isn't there? What types have you learnt about recently?
Well, of course, everybody knows the main contender, GPT, is it? GTP?
Apparently not everyone knows the main contender.
That one, OpenAI. Everybody kind of is aware of this one. To be honest, though, if I'm being totally honest, like 2 months ago, I'd never heard of it. And now you can't escape it. Like, it's been so quick how it's just kind of exploded. To me, it feels like, you remember a couple of years ago when fidget spinners just suddenly were everywhere? And like now it's just like the new version. When I was a kid, it were Tamagotchis, then it were fidget spinners, now it's AI. Like, that seems to be the trajectory that it's gone on. I've had a play around and it's pretty good, in it. Like, for what it is, for free access, it's pretty good. I think we're only scraping the surface of what's possible with this stuff. I really think as people work it out more and more, and as the technology advances, it's going to get scary good. And it's already good. Like, I'm going to say GPT. Is it GPT?
Chat GPT.
Yeah, that one is really good. But then there's all these offshoot things, right? You can do like image generation, and you can do like video creation. And you were sending me some weird pictures of Mike the other day as aubergines, and like, there's some pretty crazy stuff, right? Like, what kind of stuff have you been messing around with?
For quite a while, I've been playing with it, to be honest, for maybe 2 or 3 months now. Because when I first tried it, I was like, wow, it's just like Google, basically, isn't it? Because Google basically does that, but it directs you to specific people's sites who have created the content themselves. So if you put in any question into Google, Mother Google will then give you the answers, But it's not that, really. It's not searching for things. It's creating things as well, isn't it? So if we take ChatGPT as a good example, it's a software that is able to take in a ton of information, just like a human being, but actually select information from all parts and make opinions as well to a certain extent. I can't see how it wouldn't be a benefit to someone. Now, right now, it's not perfect, of course. There's things that need to improve. If we talk about ChatGPT, which is basically, giving you information, but like you said, there's other versions that are also not perfect, but you can see where it's going to go. Or like I use Mid-Journey image generation via text. You just type in the words, you type in a sentence, and it creates the image for you. It's had lots of data to go off of from millions and millions of pictures, and then it's accumulated all that, and then it's now able to create pictures in any kind of style, basically. So for me, the endless possibilities, it's just wild in my eyes to see where things could go.
I think it's definitely a starting point right now. It's like the embryo, but you can see the potential of where it could possibly end up going in the future. And like, if this is the start for how advanced it actually is when you think about it, if this is just the start, God knows where we're going to end up in 5-10 years. Like, this could be as important as like the internet was. This could be that thing that kind of blows everything wide open, right? We don't know right now, and it's going to be one of those things where it'll boom, and then people discover some bad thing about it, and it'll decrease, and then the people who really know how to use it will then build on that, and it will become something amazing, I think. I understand people are scared because it's new. People don't really know what to expect. Imagine you've spent 10 years in sales and marketing and you are an excellent copywriter. You make a lot of money freelance copywriting for companies, and suddenly this thing comes along and you're like, this thing does what I do for free. Companies are going to just be like, I'm switching to this thing. Of course they're going to try it. They're going to try and save money, right? That must be pretty annoying. You must be like, I don't like this. And one of my first reactions is a bit like, if this thing can generate all this content creators like me are like, well, what are we going to do? Like, pack it up, boys. It's done.
I really get that point of view, but in my opinion, it's not nowhere near that stage yet. It hasn't got a personality, and it's basically the responses that you get, whilst they are very efficient, they're very good for finding out information or giving you it can even summarize a conversation that a person says on some softwares. And like we use it for the podcast, to create the transcript, for example. That's a version of this style of AI. I don't see it being 100% effective. And I think the only way that AI will, it's at the moment, you never know where things go, but I think always there'll be an element of personalization that we need. But because, we've had in the ESL space, there's been AI software for a long time, actually. For the last couple of years, there's tools or apps where you can have conversations with AI, but it generates responses that don't really make sense sometimes, and these kind of things. And obviously it can only improve, but I do think that personality is a big part of all jobs around the world, and that even if you're a copywriter, just sometimes that nuance can change an advert from being mediocre to extremely incredible. So I think that the only way it can affect your job is if you let it, is really the key thing. You are you at the end of the day. So
that's good to know that I am me. I'd really hate I'd hate to meet somebody else who is me. That'd be terrible. But I think you're right. The best thing I've heard anyone say about this, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were saying, like, look, AI is basically the most efficient assistant you can ever get. That's how you should be treating it. Like, instead of you spending an hour writing a script from zero, why not let ChatGPT write a script in like 20 seconds and then make it better? Like, why not use it as a starting point to get you moving? Why not use it to do the legwork of some stuff that you could spend that time doing something more productive, right? And I think that's the best way to kind of look at it, like as a really, really good assistant, basically. Right?
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. Like, it can, if anything, it can make everybody's jobs 10 times better. It just depends on your attitude and the way you look at it, I think. Same, but when the internet first came out, people said the same thing. They were like, it's the devil. People didn't want to adapt to it. Same with Facebook, when people were going on Facebook. Now your grandma's on Facebook, so it's like that kind of process, I think, in my opinion. And I honestly see this I know crypto and all of that had like a big part to play over the last 10 years, but in my personal opinion, I see this as going to be a bigger thing because it will have a drastic effect on society. And obviously crypto and blockchain could also, but it hasn't done what it needs to do just yet. But I think AI can really have an effect. I mean, here's the crazy thing. We're March 24th, 2023, and since this big boom, like you've said, you've only just started seeing it, but it's everywhere now. Suddenly, in the last 2 months,
yeah,
Google and Bing have implemented it into their search engine, and Google are actually doing the same thing. So it's had a big enough effect that the biggest search engine operator in the world, the thing that we never thought, we've been through all of these search engines, AOL, Yahoo.
Ask Jeeves, let's be right.
Ask Jeeves, the classic legend. There he is, yeah, the butler for you. But Google, obviously, you never thought anything could take it off its perch. But Bing implementing it into its software, its systems, and obviously Google felt it was a big enough threat that they had to act quickly.
They are shook, as the kids say. Crypto, kind of, from an outside, I'm an old bloke. When crypto came along, that's when I was like, yep, I'm old, because I don't understand what's going on. It's like when your parents got a VCR when you were a kid, and you could program the clock on the front to be the right time, and your mum's like, how have you done that? Like, they couldn't understand it. And now that's how I felt when crypto came along. Like, mate, I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on. A computer does some maths, and then there's a coin that's worth money, and then I can trade that coin on some blockchain thing that I don't understand, and I can buy a little picture that costs more than people's houses. I don't understand what's going on. And then everybody were like, there was this boom. It was everywhere, right? Crypto is like the new thing. But then a lot of bad press came. Like with the scams and the NFTs and Jake Paul and all that stuff that's been going on for the last couple of months, and people are losing faith in it. But what's going to happen is the people that really understand the technology and really understand the game will benefit greatly out the other side of this when it all dies down a little bit. And I think that's what's going to happen with AI. It's going to boom, then some negativity is going to come, and then the people that really understand the game are going to be the ones that are going to reap the most benefits out of it, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what the next year looks like. At the minute, you can't open a piece of software without it suddenly be like, oh, we've added AI. Like Canva added AI, Notion's added AI. Everything you turn on is like, oh, we've implemented AI. All right, cool. But I'm just waiting for people to start putting it behind a paywall. That's going to be the next thing. Right now, it's kind of accessible to people, but I think they're going to lock it behind a paywall soon enough. And then everybody's going to have to go back to doing their own job. Can't just get GPT to do my work anymore. I need to pay for it. So I don't know. What do you reckon? What's coming up next?
I think this will have more people having a larger pushback on it because of what the potential of it is. So, like you said about taking over people's jobs or whatever we want to play that down as, just like when the internet came along, we all had to become specialists at using a computer. I think that AI will make us all have to be specialists on using it and learning how to create the best potential from it. So, like, that's a difference for me. That's a big difference between crypto in its current form and AI. I think AI can immediately affect everyone. But I think cryptocurrency, until it's made into a worldwide, this is what we're doing now. Just like going from cash to card.
Yeah.
Credit card. Just like that process. That seems like a bigger leap away from me than AI's, potential climb. I've already seen a lot of news stories. I've seen some interviews with the CEO of ChatGPT and some other people who are behind the scenes doing things in different companies, and a lot of them are fighting fires already. Like people were, the news reporters are asking, what if someone asks ChatGPT to how to make a bomb or something like this? And these are good questions to ask.
You know what it feels like? It's like when electric cars were becoming a thing and oil companies were kind of putting out scaremongering about them. And it's also, it's like that evolution. Something becomes popular, the people that it's going to damage the most are the ones that try and stop it, right? So, like journalists and stuff must be feeling a bit scared right now. Like written word journalists, because it's going to be hard to distinguish between what's AI and what's not AI. And people being scared of it doesn't make sense, right? Because it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It's here, right? And you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. It's out. And if it might end up being really terrible in 15 years. They said the same about robotics. It's going to put people out of jobs. Probably it is. But whether you fight for it or fight against it doesn't matter. That's going to happen one way or the other. So you may as well get good at using AI because that's where the future's going to be anyway. So may as well crack on. Having said that, I am pretty crap at using it. So I'm trying to learn how to actually, put decent commands in to get something good out of it. But I guess that's another skill to add.
Well, I mean, it's already sped up our job. For me, it's already sped up a bunch of things like content creation, even not making the content itself yet. Although I have seen some softwares that give the facility for that. But the thing that really benefited me is you can go on there and make lesson plans. You could do anything really. But for me, I used it for I want to know where to start. Can you give a basic outline on how to create a course, for example? Or can you give me the definitions and 5 examples for this word? Like the immediate impact for me and utilizing it has sped up my time massively, where it could have actually, without knowing it, could have been a negative. So
also, it's a big time saver. Like, I used it the other day. I'm putting a YouTube video out, and I was like, give me 10 YouTube titles for this topic. And then I took one that I thought was interesting and worked on it. Like, I'm not using it, not just like, okay, copy and paste what that said directly into the YouTube. I'm like, all right, that's kind of what I'm after. How can I make it a little bit better? And I think that's how I'm looking at it at the minute. It's like, you give me the jumping point, and then I'll run with it. Whether it's creating a Twitter post, or whether it's a YouTube title, or whether it's a lesson plan, or whether it's a script for a video, or whatever it is. I think it's a great starting point, but I think that you also need to have a bit of your own personality in it, and you need to put yourself into it. Sounds weird, but put some effort into making it better, not just copy and pasting. Because just because ChatGPT spits it out doesn't mean that it's perfect, doesn't mean it's even correct. You can get a lot of stuff where it doesn't come up with the correct answers, or it doesn't give you the correct details. So you do have to still use your noggin, but it is going to save you a lot of time.
But if you have zero knowledge on something, it can be exceptionally helpful.
No, for sure. So in that case then, mate, when are we quitting as jobs to become AI engineers? When's that happening?
I won't be doing that. Well, not anytime soon. It's not in my forecasted plan, but I think it's just good to have knowledge on it. It's the first time I felt in a while where I actually have knowledge because I've attacked it early. Because things like technology usually escapes me quite quickly. But this one, I was like, I feel it. It's definitely going to have a hit. So you should get on top of it, and that's what I did. I was straight in, learning about it, practicing with it, and seeing what it does. And yeah, it's going to be good, I think. But again, the key thing is how you use it, and don't let it rule your life. It doesn't need to take over your job literally. It's only you that does that if you let it. So
you're not wrong, mate. So I mean, we've gone from internet to AI to making pictures of Mike 212 English look like an aubergine, and Cristiano Ronaldo singing songs, and whatever else you were
That's
sending
what
me
it was
the other
made
day.
for.
There's so many big things that you can do with it, but I'm just interested in making pictures of my friends looking like idiots. That's what it's all about.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
I'd be interested to know what listeners think about this. If you're listening or watching this podcast, I'd love to know what you think about AI. Are we AI? Are we actually just robots created by AI? You don't know that. Maybe we are. Yeah, that's what an AI person would say. They'd throw you off the scent. But I'd love to know what you think, so let us know in the comments. And, while you're down there, click the link, get the vocabulary sheet and stuff like that. But that was a good chat, that, mate. I enjoyed that.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys. See you next time. Ciao.
Ciao.